Well, it's been a wild week here in Orger Creek, Wisconsin, my hometown. It's the Thursday following New Year's, into the second day of 2020, and already most of the town has given up on their New Year's resolutions. Everyone woke up this morning to sub-zero temps and a fresh coat of snow on the ground, and as happens nearly every year around this time, everyone is simultaneously stricken with the realization that life suddenly holds nothing but bland, bitter cold, endless darkness, no more holidays, nothing to look forward to until the sun finally breaks through that bleak, frigid gray sky sometime in March. It's there in March, just as the heaviest winter depression begins to settle into our weary bones here in the frozen tundra. That March sun appears just in time to encourage many of us to pull the guns out of our mouths and remember that bonfires, bikinis, and beers are not too far off after all. Just hang in there a little longer. But for now, that world is eons away from this winter purgatory that Orger Creek awakes to. And this uninspiring environment isn't conducive to keeping New Year's resolutions at all. Why not get a little something on the way to work? Just a little something to make it all feel less bleak, less cold. A little reward for even making it to 2020 to begin with. Not everyone has, after all. Most people who have ever existed in the entire history of mankind have not made it to 2020. But you did. You're special. You deserve that donut. There's always next week to get back on those resolutions. Hell, you have all year to lose that weight, or quit drinking or smoking, or learn Japanese, or start that podcast. Why rush it? If you do it all right away, what will you have to look forward to for the rest of the year? And anyway, there's a long, harsh winter left to endure. It's only January 2nd after all, and we haven't seen anything resembling the worst of it yet. Surely those extra layers of chub won't be such a bad idea in keeping us insulated enough to survive this winter hell. We humans have to survive this icebox as well as any of the good Lord's creatures who live here in Wisconsin. No one is out fat-shaming bears because we understand the bear needs that extra poundage to survive until spring. It's the silly humans who are trying to slim down just at the moment that they need that extra insulation most. There's a natural order to things, and most of us are going to preserve that natural order of things with that breakfast McMuffin with extra cheese. Anyway, it's Thursday this morning, and you don't want to start getting too crazy with the self-improvement right before the weekend. You want to be who you've always been for the weekend. Not improved you, but weekend you. Fun you. You can't really improve on weekend you. No one wants to be around new you for the weekend, especially not you. And anyway, the Packers are in the playoffs, and you don't really want to be improved for that. Sure, they're not playing this weekend because they have a first-round bye this year, but you can't take a week off from drinking, or else you're just not going to be properly prepared for when they get to the Super Bowl. And anyway, it was a good diet day yesterday. Sure, it was spent on the couch, extremely hungover, watching Netflix with nothing to feed that maelstrom in your stomach except some grapes and tea, but that's hardly the point. It's all about eating right and taking care of yourself, and that's exactly what you did yesterday. Surely you can treat yourself now for that successful first day of the year. And so the inner chatter of excuses drone on and on. The 2nd of January should be a recognized day of its own, Temptation Day, a day where the weak-willed are separated from the slightly less but still weak-willed, where old habits eventually settle back into everyone's lives once more, and we give up fighting against it, just like we've given up on life, like our parents and our grandparents before us. That's the spirit of Orger Creek. That's why Ryan Damcyk doesn't even bother setting New Year's resolutions for himself. He knows the fate of such resolutions already, and he's pretty happy with his life at the moment. He doesn't mind that he's a 5'4", 247-pound manlet, spending most of his time perusing 4chan message boards between jerking off to rape fetish porn and online gaming, living on frozen pizzas and chicken tenders, indulging in his secret hatred of women as an angry incel while watching MGTOW YouTube videos, convincing himself he's just one of those men going his own way, rather than the bitter incel he really is. And he's perfectly self-aware of all these things about himself, and he wouldn't change a thing. His only goal for the new year is to save enough money for a high-quality, realistic silicone sex doll by the time his birthday rolls around in April. At least he'll have someone around to celebrate his birthday with. And that's exactly as far into the future as he cares to look. Other than that, as far as he was concerned, he lived the perfect life. Everything that is except his day job. that painful 8-hour pimple on the ass cheek of his life holding him back from reaching his full potential of message board shitposting and video gaming domination. It's not just that he hated the time spent here at work doing this tedious bullshit he couldn't care less about. It was also the fact that he worked in an office with 3 other people he loathed with every fiber of his being. Orger Creek Family Insurance is an open space separated by cheap cubicles that reeks of a mixture of essential oils and cleaning chemicals set in the middle of a strip mall with Quasimodo Chiropractic on one side and Bernie's Coins and Collectibles on the other side. Orger Creek Family Insurance is only 5 years old, and Ryan was hired on early to handle all of the company's new IT needs. Although he's the second highest paid employee in the company, next to the boss himself, his actual work amounts to about 4 hours per day, and since his boss is rarely in the office, as he's always out trying to sell new policies that will bolster the fledgling insurance company, Ryan is pretty much left to himself to browse 4chan message boards and Reddit gaming communities for the bulk of his day. Occasionally, he's interrupted by one or more of the gaggle of obnoxious coworkers that will occasionally interrupt him because they can't figure out how to turn on the printer or access their email, or whatever other dumb shit a child could figure out. There's 3 of them, all fat, lazy, stupid piles of shit he routinely complains about on 4chan when he's not explaining to them that the coffee maker isn't broken, it just needs to be plugged in. Cassie, Shayna, and Becky, who refer to themselves as the Squad, but whom Ryan mentally refers to as the Herd, are all claims adjusters and paper pushers within the company. One does payroll, one handles claims, the other one does whatever she needs to do to help the other 2. After 4 years with the company, Ryan has minor beefs with all of them, and his workplace is just as friendless as the rest of his life, which is fine with him. But given the close proximity of the office space, he's still exposed to the details of their stupid lives, hearing all about their stupid children, their stupid romantic lives full of stupid cheaters named Chad and DeAndre, their stupid new fave shitty pop song that's totally them, and every stupid new fad diet that lasts as long as the men in their lives. He fucking hates them all. Today they're assaulting his ears with the tales of their holiday whorings and some stupid drama between Cassie and her boyfriend, and how the Herd had gone out on New Year's Eve to help her forget about it. But now boyfriend is on a rampage, hunting down some asshole named Mac or Mick or Mark, and the only thing shocking about the entire unfolding drama was that this Mark guy could hook up with such a repugnant person as Cassie. But whatever, today you would have some sweet revenge on these insufferable cows and kick off the new year with a sense of pride that only a 4chan troll could truly understand. It all started with a post last Saturday night on 4chan that, to his surprise, blew up into an unusually excited and helpful comment thread. And it contained very little by way of comments of people telling them that he should just go and kill himself. Hey bros, he posted, the office Herd will be starting their annual diets next Thursday, and that's all I'm going to hear about at work for the next week or so until they give up. I already know their diets are doomed. If they actually had an ounce of self-discipline, they wouldn't be the fat wastes they've been for years, and so I just wanted to hurry the process along to spare me from the tedium of having to listen about it at work. Help. Operation Pound Cake was hatched that evening while Ryan slurped down Chef Boyardee canned ravioli, dipping microwave chicken tenders into the tomato sauce. 4chan isn't good at real life, but what it excels at, more than any other community on the internet, is in hatching the most brilliant troll efforts known to man. And Operation Pound Cake was a simple enough plan. Buy donuts in the morning. A box. A big fucking box. Full of the fullest, creamiest fillings. Chocolate filling, lemon filling, custard filling, raspberry filling, cream filling, all the fillings. It's everyone's first day back since the new year, and this year you plan on being a nicer, more generous person. A lie, of course, but a righteous lie just to watch these entitled fat bitches crash and burn. They'll be able to resist those donuts in the morning, but we're not going for the immediate kill here. This is a long game. You walk in, a great mood, smile, if you can, offer them one, have the box open so they get a full hypnotizing gaze upon the glaze. They'll resist, of course. They've just had breakfast and will still have just enough sugar in them to be able to resist. And so that's what he did that morning. And the response was immediate. "Ryan, get that fucking shit out of here. We're on a diet, dude," Becky shrieked. "No kidding," Cassie chimed in. "And by the way, you really need to go on one yourself there, Shrek." The girls laugh. Ryan apologizes sheepishly. "Sorry, guys. I didn't know. I was just trying to start the new year off with something nice." Part 2 of the 4chan plan. You are to set the open box on a desk near the bathroom. After an hour or two, the fried, sugary scent of piled donuts will work its way throughout the office, eventually forcing itself into all 6 of their nose holes. As this is happening, you are to help yourself to one of the irresistible treats every hour and a half or so, and while you're sucking down deliciousness, make it a point to ask them different questions about work so they are forced to watch you eat. This will begin to break down their resolve. And sure enough, by an hour before lunch, the girls were making offhand comments about the smell of donut pervading the office and lamenting that donuts were not healthy. Ryan caught each of them casting longing glances towards the open box as they went to and from the bathroom, which happened frequently as they guzzled coffee all morning in a vain attempt at appetite suppression. Soon, longing glances were followed up by in-depth conversations about what their favorite donuts were, followed by a discussion of their favorite pastries in general. Ryan knew what this really meant. The donut worm had pierced their minds. By the time lunch rolled around, the girls nearly bolted out of the office. Now alone, Ryan helped himself to another donut and logged into 4chan to inform the community how their diabolical plan was unfolding. Now it was time to observe Phase 3. Total diet breakdown. The afternoon sugar low would be too much for them to handle. They wouldn't have eaten anything for lunch but grilled chicken salads and yogurts and would be ravenous by the time 2 o'clock rolled around. The only question is, who would it be? Who would crack first? Well, it was time to find out. Returning from a planned-out bathroom break around 2:15, Ryan snatches another donut from the box on his way back to his workstation. He pretended not to notice the envious gazes upon him. He took a bite, letting some of the chocolate filling spill out onto his chin, catching it with his finger and lifting it to his mouth before going in for another bite. While Cassie and Shayna had turned away, distracting themselves with work and trying not to notice the donut orgy taking place before them, Becky continued to watch, transfixed as Ryan bit a third time, deep into that triple chocolate Bismarck. It looked so good. She would demean herself to licking that gooey filling from Ryan's nasty, greasy face just for a taste of it. After what seemed like an eternity, he had finally finished and went back to work. Becky waited a full 10 minutes before excusing herself to go to the bathroom, and she couldn't have seemed more eager. The trap was set. The box was open. No one was looking. Just her and a pile of beautiful, delicious donuts. No one would notice if just one was plucked from the box. It was about 20 minutes before Shayna finally said something about Becky's lingering absence. She had, after all, been waiting for her to get out of the bathroom so that she could have some alone time with a donut or two herself. She finally moves to the bathroom and softly knocks. From within, she hears gentle sobbing and checks the door. It's unlocked. Shayna slowly opens the door to find her friend sitting on the toilet sobbing. "Are you okay, hon?" "No," Becky replies, looking up. Her chocolate-lined lips betray her diet failure. Shayna's immediate thought was, "Damn it, she stole my idea." Sensing the drama, Cassie was next to Shayna in a flash, and both did their best to console their distraught friend. Becky unloaded through the tears how she had let the squad down and how she was going to be way behind on her diet now, and what's the point of continuing now? But Shayna had an ingenious solution to make sure they all stayed on track together. She and Cassie would eat a donut also. Cassie eagerly agreed to that delicious solution. She was ready to rip someone's head off in her hunger, and Ryan was going to be that someone if she didn't get a sugar fix. It was a solution they could both get behind. "But I had to," Becky sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I'm such a disgusting pig." Cassie and Shayna looked at each other and shrugged. Even better, they simultaneously thought, but acted as though that it was going to be a sacrifice. We can eat 2 donuts for our friend, they concluded. Long, fake nails plucked donuts from the box like eagle talons might pluck a fish from a lake, though not nearly as gracefully, and soon both women were transported to sensuous, gooey heaven, feeling the rush of fulfilling sugar coursing immediately through their veins like heroin junkies. Becky was so grateful for having such beautiful, wonderful friends as these to support her like this, and hugged them both. She took a second to consider admitting to them she had actually eaten 3, but nah, that would be her little secret. It's all right, girl, her friends returned her affections. We'll just start our diets for real on Monday. They all nodded in agreement and dove in for more donuts. With the low sugar edge being taken off and moods boosted, they even thanked Ryan for being so thoughtful as to bring them donuts. Ryan smiled to himself. Mission accomplished. And that's the news from Orger Creek, Wisconsin, where the beer is thick, the cheese is fresh, and the Packers are above average.